Throughout the history of the armed forces of the United States of America, specially trained soldiers have aided their battlefield commanders in leading them to victory by laying down precise and accurate rifle fire, giving recent and detailed information on enemy troop movements, and eliminating key targets on the battlefield. Who are these men, and where did their legacy, one that can still be found today, begin? Originally, the Marines weren't as much of a land-based fighting force as they are today. In fact, they barely ever fought on dry land at all. During the Revolutionary War, the fledgling United States Navy was no match for the might of the British Royal Empire, so the U.S. searched for ways to even the odds. From this, a group arose whose job it was to use hunting rifles to fire upon the enemy ship's men and destroy their chain of command, making it easier for the U.S. ship's guns to destroy the British ship. These men were called the Continental Marines. To this day, all Marines are measured by only two things: their physical fitness and their marksmanship with a rifle. It's this second core value that has become the trademark of the U.S. Marine Corps Scout Snipers, whose motto is, quite fittingly, one shot, one kill. When the First World War came around, the Marines were well prepared. Only a few years before, they'd established Parris Island, where the high standards to become a U.S. Marine originated. A major part of this training was the focus on accuracy when firing a weapon. A select few, who were better than most Marines at sharpshooting, were chosen to become specialized Marine marksmen and were called snipers. The term sniper arose from snipe hunting, where British soldiers serving in India would try to hunt and kill a snipe, which was a small bird that's very difficult to kill. When deployed to the front lines of World War I in 1918, the small detachment of Marines that was there served alongside French allies. On June 1st, 1918, after showing off their superior marksmanship behind friendly lines, the French laughed at them, saying it must be a sort of trick. To prove their point, the Marines lined up, aimed at the German lines 700 to 800 yards away, and opened fire. Within moments, the German troopers were running around in disarray as Marines picked them off from the distance thought impossible beforehand. The Marines would then go on to fight in Belleau Wood, but the Marine snipers proved that they were a very powerful, if small, part of the armed forces. Between the First and Second World Wars, the Marine sniper was all but forgotten. When the time came to retrain and rearm the U.S. Marines, the Corps High Command saw once again that snipers would play a critical role and opened 2 sniping schools. However, the only reference the schools had for training these young Marines was a book by H.W. McBride entitled A Rifleman Went to War, which was an account of the author's experiences as a Canadian sniper in World War I. The weapon that these Marine snipers would use was the Springfield M1903A1, a modified version of the rifle used by U.S. infantrymen in World War I. The snipers were trained to work in 2-man teams. One sniper, who would take the shot, and one spotter, whose job it was to help acquire the target with a separate scope. However, traditional sniper tactics didn't do much good in multiple beach landings that the Marines often were in while operating in the Pacific Theater. To counter the threat posed by Marine snipers once they actually had a chance to dig in, Japanese snipers were put in place at Okinawa, where the open hillsides were perfect for sniping. After World War II ended, the Marine snipers didn't get to rest for too long, and were sent straight away to Korea once the fighting started there. Unlike the islands of the Pacific, the hilly terrain that lay between Seoul and Pyongyang served as perfect terrain to put the Marine snipers to good use. After Korea, however, there will be a decrease in sniper schools across the nation due to peacetime budget cuts. When the 3rd Marine Division was sent to Vietnam in 1965, most of the soldiers were killed by enemy snipers and booby traps. Once again, High Command saw it necessary to deploy snipers, so they asked Captain Bob Russell to form a full platoon of snipers to fight the Viet Cong. Captain Russell needed a way to train these men, but lacked any sort of instruction manual. He then turned to the only officer with any experience on the matter, Captain Ed Land, who'd run a training school in Hawaii. Land sent him a course syllabus and lesson plans, along with a copy of the book A Rifleman Went to War. This course would become the basis for all future USMC Scout Sniper training courses. The snipers were soon deployed in Vietnam, using high-powered hunting rifles that had been considered too expensive beforehand. They still used 2-man teams, and cooperation between the sniper and spotter was key to the success of these small teams. With new developments in scope technology, sniping became a very personal job, with the sniper now being able to see their target's eyes moving back and forth. For some snipers, it was too much to handle knowing that they held their target's life in their hands. and that they could end it at any moment. Their only consolation was knowing that they were stopping that soldier from killing an American soldier in the future. Arguably one of the best snipers ever, Sergeant Carlos Norman Hathcock was a member of the USMC Scout Snipers serving in Vietnam. Having learned to shoot a rifle at a very young age, he won many awards in civilian shooting competitions before joining the Marines. Having taken Captain Lanz's course in Hawaii, he was sent to Hill 55 and became part of the environment, blending into his surroundings and not just functioning within it. He became such a threat that the North Vietnamese Army sent one of their best snipers, codenamed Cobra, to hunt down and kill him. Cobra began to target soldiers on Hill 55 in an attempt to lure Hathcock out of hiding. Instead, Hathcock and his spotter stalked Cobra, learning his habits. When scanning a ravine one day, Hathcock saw a glint off of what he presumed was a scope and fired at it, killing Cobra. The rumor is that the bullet went through the scope and hit Cobra in the eye. Later, Hathcock said, "I didn't think about it till later, but I was looking at that guy and he was looking at me. I was just a little bit quicker on the trigger." Due to the top-secret status of all his missions, no awards were given, but it would make him famous within the small scout sniper community. He would finally die from old age in 1999. Despite the important role the Marine Scout Snipers played in Vietnam, the program once again risked being forgotten. Jim Land didn't want that to happen, however, and campaigned for a permanent USMC Scout Sniper program, using Hathcock as a prime example of the usefulness of snipers. Land, along with other officers who helped him, succeeded in their endeavor, and the first permanent Scout Sniper training base was opened in Quantico, Virginia. Captain Jack Cuddy was the first officer in charge of the program and helped develop the M4 OA-1 rifle, which was the first rifle designed especially for snipers. With multiple upgrades for improved accuracy, the M4 OA-1 is still in use today as the standard issue rifle for USMC Scout Snipers. The training program established by Cuddy is still the same basic program used today. It's considered to be the most physically and mentally demanding training course in the U.S. military. Regular Marines, Navy SEALs, and even Army Rangers have trouble passing this course. The course consists of 3 phases. First is 30 days of academic study and weapons training. Next comes training in the field. This includes land navigation, patrolling, and camouflage, among other things. Each student also makes their own ghillie suit, which is the trademark of a sniper and the epitome of blending in with nature. Finally, there's the final exercise, where the students must use everything they've learned and use it in simulated missions. It's a non-stop exercise and consists of about 5 different missions. If a sniper in training doesn't complete the exercise, they fail the course. 30% of all recruits don't make it to week 10 of training. Today, snipers are military commanders' eyes and ears on the battlefield, scouting out enemy positions, eliminating known terrorists in the middle of a civilian crowd, and counter-sniping against Taliban insurgents, who've grown more accurate recently, as seen in the campaign to retake Marja in Helmand Province, Afghanistan. There, 2 well-placed snipers can hold up an entire regiment of Marines. Throughout history, the USMC Scout Snipers have played a critical role in the defense of this great nation, from eliminating ship's captains to taking out Viet Cong rebels, all the way up to the advanced sniping of today, where one rarely ever sees the enemy, even in broad daylight. If the Marines are the few and the proud to the Army, then USMC Scout Snipers are the few and the proud to the Marines.